Hey guys, welcome to an interesting video on Wild Rift. So today we're finally here with our Twitch updated complete guide, of course, for the latest patch. Now this one has taken a long time to make because pretty much I think Twitch is one of the worst ADCs in the game, next to Samira, who we've just done, and also Callista, who we've done way back when. But of course, as usual, before we really get into the nitty gritty, don't forget to check out Twitch's basic guide that I put up in the cards above right now for his skills, leveling order tips and tricks, as well as a couple of combos. But with that said, now let's take a look at what has changed. So I've actually changed Twitch's build quite a bit. Now you will see that all of the top players on Twitch are saying Runan's Hurricane first item, and then into attack speed boots, and then into Blade, and then into Terminus, which is basically the same items I have, but the order I've kind of switched it up. Now, I've tried this build, and I've tried Blade first into Runans as well. I gotta be honest, I think out of all of Twitch's builds, like starting Terminus, starting Blade, and starting Runans, I think starting Runans is the worst out of all of them, because you do absolutely no damage with Runan's Hurricane, and honestly, I cannot understand why people are rushing Runan's Hurricane first item even before boots. Like, it really boggles my mind why people are doing that. Obviously, Runan's is an amazing Twitch item, right? Because obviously you get attack speed, you get a little bit of AD, you get on-hit physical damage, and most importantly, you get the Wind Fury passive, which allows you to attack 3 people at the same time, right? But the issue is that this is an amazing Twitch item to stack your poison onto 3 people at the same time, but it's horrible as a first item because it gives you 20 AD, which is even less than boots, by the way. This boots gives you like 20, and like the gluttonous greaves give you like 35 if I'm not wrong. So it gives you like equal or less AD than boots. It gives you attack speed, which is not very useful. Okay, I won't say it's not very useful, right? It's useful on Twitch because you can stack up your poison, but it's just not very useful compared to AD in the earlier part of the game, and compared to Blade and compared to Terminus, it's just the worst option, right? So the option I've gone for, which I've actually never gone for previously, is actually starting off Terminus first instead of Blade. Now if you take a look at the difference between Terminus and Blade, Terminus is 3,400 gold, whereas Blade is 3,200 gold. So 200 gold difference, non-negligible difference. That's almost a kill's worth of gold kind of difference. However, Terminus stats are just so amazing, right? You get 35 AD and 30% attack speed at the start. Already, just with that, it's already better stats pretty much than the other Rune King. And then you get, of course, stacking armor, and magic resist, and you also, of course, get the stacking penetrations. So overall, like, obviously stat-wise, just Terminus is just way better than Blade, so that's why I got for Terminus first. And then, of course, we go for Runans, as we already talked about quite extensively, just to be able to stack poison onto 3 people at the same time. And then, of course, we have then Blade, more AD and attack speed, physical damage is really great, health damage, current health damage on hit, pretty useful, and the Drain passive. And then, I forgot to mention the boots, but the boots we actually go for the Berserker Greaves instead of the Gluttonous Greaves, because on Twitch in the early game, it is actually quite useful to have attack speed to actually stack up your poison in lane and get better trades that way. So Twitch is one of the few champions that Berserkers are actually better than Gluttonous. But then, of course, next item we go is Wit's End. Now, Wit's End, of course, gives you attack speed, magic resist, on-hit magic damage, as well as healing when you're below half HP. And it's pretty much a core item on Twitch. Now, the only time I say probably maybe you don't want to build this is if you're against like a full AD team comp, then maybe you don't want to go for Wit's End. But other than that, you pretty much always want to go for it. Last item is going to be flexible, but it's mostly going to be a safety item, which is in this case going to be Shieldable, which gives you a good mix of safety and damage. Now for the runes, still going for Lethal Tempo for the attack speed and range, Brutal because you auto attack a ton, Giant Slayer to counter the tanks, Alacrity just for even more attack speed, of course, seeing as you are, of course, building on hit. And then you have Bone Plating, of course, for the defensive capabilities. Now, I'm not sure if people still go for Sudden Impact. Actually, they do, right? But Sudden Impact is just so much worse, right? Because Sudden Impact, you just deal a little bit of extra true damage. 10 to 80 true damage is, like, I won't say it's negligible, but it's just really little. Compared to the safety you get from Bone Plating, I think Bone Plating is just so much better. And then for the spells, you want to go for Flash together with either Cleanse if you need it, or if not, Ghost is amazing on Twitch. So with all that said, now let's move on to talking about our gameplay. Okay, now let's move on to the gameplay. Of course, as usual, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Any questions, queries, or remarks, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Of course, I'll be sure to address them. And I've worked really hard on this particular Twitch video. I've had to play countless games of Twitch to get a good gameplay to show you guys. And Twitch is the trashiest ADC in the game right now. Sorry if you guys love Twitch or if you guys are Twitch mains, but honestly, just objectively speaking, Twitch is, in my opinion, the worst ADC in the game, like right now. So that's a little bit unfortunate. I do think Twitch is a very fun champion though, but unfortunately he just ain't it at the moment. In the current meta, he's just not very good, right? And the main reason like for that is they nerfed him to the ground because Twitch jungle was way too OP. He's killing people level 2 and level 3 just ganking with like red buff or something like that. And like basically ever since then they kind of nerfed him, and then AP Twitch was really popular and they nerfed all of his AP scaling. So pretty much now you're locked into building on hit. You don't really build crit, don't really build AP. Although AP is still kind of semi-viable because I did do a video a little bit ago, but I think that build is still relevant, to be honest, on AP Twitch, and it actually was really decent. So anyways, regardless here, yeah, so Twitch, in my opinion, if you actually pick Twitch, you're signing up for a bad experience, right? There's only really two possibilities that can happen. Either you have a mediocre early to mid game, or even you have a bad early to mid game where you die multiple times, and then you have like a either bad late game, or you actually come back in the late game because you scale very well and then you kind of bring the game back. So this is what we're gonna see in this particular gameplay. I think we have a mediocre early game, and then we go into like a mid game and late game where we slowly kind of scale up and we slowly get to our items and not fall too far behind to the fact that we can actually carry. So that's kind of the main win condition of Twitch, right? It's like you just kind of have to not fall too far behind so that you can actually carry in the mid to late game, right? So the other possibility, which is very rare but does happen sometimes, is, for example, if you're playing one of the Twitch combos, and by that I mean Twitch Lulu, Twitch Milio, or Twitch Yumi. Sometimes in the early game, enemy team actually completely misplays the situation, like dives you and dies, or like they just underestimate you and they die, because honestly people see Twitch so little nowadays that a lot of people don't even know Twitch's damage. So case in point here, Thresh for some reason is going in hardcore in the Milio. I already have full stacks of poison on him, I'm just auto-attacking him down. Jin is ignoring me and focusing Milio, and Thresh just dies, right? So this is case in point. It is possible to have enemies underestimate you and then you get early game kills like what I just did here, and then you snowball and you get so many kills and you get so fed that anyone who comes close to you, you one-shot them. But I have to say that this is kind of the dream Twitch match, but honestly this happens like 1 in every like 20 matches, and I'm saying that from experience playing Twitch. Of course I'm not the best Twitch player out there. I don't play Twitch all that much, to be very honest, but I have had those matches and they come really rarely, right? Because most people, even if they underestimate Twitch, right, there's a reason why Twitch is underestimated. It's because he's just not good, right? So it's very likely that you know, you will find yourself in a position where you are either even or behind. Normally, I would say the most common being comparing being ahead, even, slightly behind, and very badly behind. I think the most common is slightly behind, then like very badly behind, and then even, and then ahead, right? So ahead is kind of the most rare kind of state that you find yourself in, which is very unfortunate. I mean, yeah, you know, Twitch, like the reason why Twitch is really not good in the current meta is because, like, essentially he is locked into building on hit, right? But he is not really good at dealing with tanks, right? Even though he's building all the on-hit items, he's not amazing against tanks. He's way better against squishies, but he's not very good against squishies either. So he doesn't really have a niche, right? He's not amazing against tanks, right? So he's definitely not going to compete with the likes of Varus, Kai'Sa, Vayne, or like even Sivir, any of the good champions against tanks, right? He's also not amazing against squishies, right? So if you really were to pick like a bottom tier champion, you would rather pick Kalista or Samira, who's really good with dealing with squishies but not that good at dealing with tanks, because like at the end of the day, it's better to be great at something and bad at something than to be just okay at everything, right? Jack of all trades is not really that good, right? So Twitch is not amazing against squishies, he's not amazing against tanks, he's just alright with both. And really the only thing I can think of that Twitch kind of brings to the table that other champions don't have is his invisibility, right? I mean, even invisibility, like Vayne and Kai'Sa kind of have that, like Vayne with the ulti and Kai'Sa with the evolved E. So even that's not like purely unique to Twitch, but getting the invisibility resets is kind of big. As I accidentally auto attack the fruit there, but Wukong is able to get it. I'm just auto attacking from the back, as you guys can see. Now here Jin's caught out of position. We're chasing him down. He barely escapes here. Unfortunately, Twitch, sorry, not Twitch. Twitch is me. Galio and Ziggs are now coming off the roam. I'm trying to get away. Unfortunately, I run straight into Ziggs, and now I'm kind of trapped because I don't want to get 4-shot by Jin, right? But here, Jin actually 4-shots the Milio instead, and here I'm stuck in a 1v1 against a full HP Ziggs, which I'm definitely not gonna win, and I do end up going down. So, unfortunately, like as with a lot of my Twitch videos, a lot of the time I'm just kind of talking about how kind of bad he is, because he really doesn't have anything that he's really amazing at. I will say, other than the invisibility, the best thing about him is his like range and team fight power, right? But then again, like if you wanted range, there's Caitlyn, there's Ashe. If you wanted team fight power, there's other champions like Sivir, for example. I think he's just the worst version of all of these champions, basically, because he literally is the worst ADC in the meta right now, right? I mean, it's so bad that as I've been spamming Twitch to kind of get the Twitch gameplay for you guys and do the updated guide, I've actually gone flamed in champ select for picking Twitch, which I'm gonna be honest, I don't even blame the guy for flaming the Twitch pick, because if I saw a Twitch on my team, I would be like, man, like there's so many ADCs to pick, literally any of them would be better than Twitch. So I think it's just a very, very kind of unfortunate kind of situation that we have with Twitch here, because Twitch is like, Twitch is a very fun ADC to play, right? Because his invisibility, sneaking up on people, and like, you know, like the fantasy of sneaking up on someone and killing them is like really, really fun. And speaking of sneaking up on, here is Wukong and Galio going in onto the Thresh and getting a kill onto him. But the issue is that he doesn't have the damage to back up that sneaking around and assassinating people kind of fantasy that Twitch is supposed to fulfill. I will say, however, that after testing all of the various builds, and yes, I tested Bladed Rune King first, I tested Runans first, I tested Terminus first, as I mentioned just now in the loadout, but if you guys skipped it, Runans first is the worst. I really think that people going for Runans first, like all the top players, they must be playing for a late game, right? They must be playing for like mid and late game. There's no way Runans first is a good deal, right? Like, if you really think about it, Runans first gives you very, very poor stats just because of the novelty of attacking three people at the same time. The Runan stats cannot be good, right? They have to be bad, because if not, it's just way too OP. So they have to be bad. So Blade and Terminus is just going to be better. And Terminus stat-wise is just the best, which is why I actually tried Blade first, I tried Terminus first, I tried everything. And I concluded for myself that I think Terminus first is actually the best Twitch build out of them all, so I go for Terminus first, then into Runans, and then into Bork. Now, honestly, I would think even Terminus into Bork and then Runan's third item is not even that bad, right? Because if you really think about it, there's no real point spreading the poison to everybody if you don't do any damage to begin with. Right, so here we are trying to find an opportunity to go in on Jin, because obviously Thresh has recalled, so Jin is alone, but he knows that. He 4-shots the minion and uses the movement speed from the 4-shot to get out of dodge. So, yeah, so this match we actually take Cleanse, because there's a ton of CC on the enemy team. You of course have Riven, Knock Up and Stun, you have Echo Stun, you have Jin's Root, you have Thresh, and basically Thresh's entire kit, other than the Lantern, is CC. Speaking of which, there's the CC, we pop the Cleanse, but Thresh still follows, puts down the box, and I don't think I'm getting out here. So I try to turn. Look, I'm doing 0 damage to the Jin, even with Terminus completed. I'm doing 0 damage to Jin. I get hooked by Thresh, and I end up just going down. Like, Jin now pops the ulti, snipes out the Milio, and Milio just goes down as well. Yeah, it's just not that great, right? Yeah, but the one good thing about Twitch is its amazing scaling, right? I will say that Twitch against like any champion that doesn't scale amazingly, I think is actually pretty good. Like Twitch against Jhin, Twitch against Ezreal, maybe against Kalista, even Samira, like against champions that don't scale very well, there is always a hope. There's always a hope that you can eventually outscale them. Of course, that fat hope, right? But there's always that possibility, and it's way better than playing Twitch against like a Jinx or like a Zeri, who you know is gonna scale very well as well, and you have basically no shot of outscaling them because they scale just as well, if not better than you. So it just ain't gonna work out that way. So regardless, here we are going to just clear out the minions, and here we're attempting to get like this tower, but obviously you can see here that what happens instead, we end up getting caught out. Here, surprisingly, Echo uses all his spells, and actually, I was actually ready to die here, but Echo uses all his spells, and then he runs out of cooldowns, and then I'm, wait a minute, can I actually get out? So I try to flash out, but then his spell cooldowns all come back up, and then he just one-shots me anyway, so I wanted to save my flash and not use it, until the point where I realized that, wait a minute, I may not be dead, and then I die anyway, so in the end, I kind of wasted my flash, didn't actually need to use the flash whatsoever, and I end up just on gray screen again. So 1, 3, and 2. As I say, we have a very mediocre 2. I mean, you could even consider it bad, but I consider it mediocre because if you take a look at the current situation, the enemy team has like a 10k gold lead on my team, so we're getting completely stomped. But in my team, I actually have like pretty much the most gold out of anybody, so I still think I'm doing not too bad. We catch out the Thresh here, we're trying to catch out the Echo as well. Jhin is putting the bullets into me, I'm getting completely chunked out by the Jhin, and I'm basically getting... I basically got kicked out of the fight by Jhin, right? Because I can't go anywhere close. His 4th shot is gonna just kill me. In fact, any of these spells probably just gonna kill me because I'm that low. Like any auto attack is gonna probably kill me, so I'm gonna have to run back to base with my tail between my legs, perhaps literally. And then now we're back here trying to see if we can sneak up on anybody with the invisibility, but it ain't gonna happen. So we're just gonna clear the wave instead. Riven coming in here as well as the Ziggs, trying to go for an in-hit. We get poked a little bit by the Ziggs. Half of our health is gone just from the Ziggs poke. Ziggs getting caught up by Galleon. Now Ziggs ults me and I take another huge chunk of damage. I think without Milio there to heal and shield me, I actually think Ziggs Q into ult just kills me. And that's how squishy I am, slash how much damage Ziggs has with 2 full items. So here Infernal Drake is up. Of course enemy team just takes it. I'm not quite interested in that. I have 2 items now. I'm just interested in the wave. Like the aim of the game with Twitch is to just get to like at least 3 items, and that's kind of where you at least kind of can do a little bit of damage. I mean, 1 item, 2 item, you're not that useful. You kind of need like the 3 core items of Bork, Runans, and Terminus to really start being useful, which is kind of what I'm trying to do. Here my team is trying to catch out the Riven, but they really aren't catching out the Riven because Riven has her whole team kind of behind her, and my team instead is the one actually getting caught out. I'm trying to make my way into the fight. Riven is actually now getting caught because she can't get over the wall. I'm blasting her into high heaven, and Sinch unfortunately picks up a double kill. I'm really looking for some kills here, especially on the Jhin. Here we're trying to look for opportunities. We spot the Thresh, we're gonna execute him, but once again I don't get the kill. I flash forward for the Jhin, and fortunately Jhin 4 shots the Sinch instead of me, and I am able to get the shutdown onto the Jhin, giving me a fat 900 gold. After that, huge wave in the mid lane as well, huge gold injection for myself. I'm a little bit unlucky here, I will say. Like, if I got a bunch of those kills that I was really close to getting, like in that fight and some previous fights, I think I would be a lot more fed, and of course I would be in a better position to carry. Either which way, I'm slowly kind of catching up to the enemy team. You'll see I'm the only one on my team who have crested 10k gold. And on the enemy team, we do of course have Riven and Jhin who are like at like 11, 12k gold, which of course they are very, very fed. No surprise considering that they are now no longer 10k gold ahead of us, but now 8k gold ahead of us. Of course those shutdowns have kind of made a little bit of a difference. However, the Thresh does have super little gold for some reason though. He has less gold than Milio. But either way, we're just here just farming. We are really close to Borg, and we kind of need this wave to get it. We're on the opposite side of Baron though, so it's very dangerous because enemy team can just start Baron and go for it. So here I actually want to back for Borg. However, the issue is that my team is kind of engaging in a kind of what I like to call like a dance with the enemy team, where both teams are kind of posturing but no one is actually fighting, which I really don't want to fight. Like, I really want to recall, so I conclude that a fight might still break out but has not done so yet. So I'm pinging my team to retreat, I'm pinging my team to not fight, and then I'm going to recall and get my Borg. Now I'm rushing back out and I'm pinging retreat again, like please don't fight when I'm not there. Now the issue is that I'm coming out and Singe is going back, and that's kind of bad because now we don't have Singe, although he gets cancelled thankfully, so now we do. And the enemy team really are posturing for Baron. So we kind of have to do something, if not enemy team is going to get a free Baron. I mean, we can give it, but enemy team is now turning onto us. I get flayed by Thresh. I'm able to basically walk out. I'm still in the backline. Riven coming for me in the backline. Singe throws her away. I'm just blasting Riven. Look at the Bork damage proccing onto the rest of them, by the way. Here I'm just blasting. Jhin goes way too overextended. He gets one shot by my team. He literally walks in 1v5 because of how overextended he is. Waiting out all the enemy spells back into invisibility to reposition. Now we're going to try to sneak up on them and see if we can get anything done. Now here I was trying to go for the Echo and the Ziggs, because I'm thinking 3-item Twitch, I can probably have the damage to kill him. Not quite enough damage yet. We kind of need a little bit our team with us if we really wanted to do that, because we cannot be the sole focus of Echo and Ziggs. They just do too much damage, especially not yet having the Wit's End. I think when we have Wit's End, we can actually kind of survive the Echo and the Ziggs damage, because the amount of magic resist you get from like items like Wit's End or from like Maw are actually really significant, so they actually will matter. So we kind of need to kind of look for that. So for now, we're kind of getting back into the game, but as you can see, we're still not exactly really back in the game yet. We're still 5k gold behind the enemy team, but we're slowly closing the gap. And of course, literally the entire enemy team is a threat, right? Other than, like, I mean, Thresh is a threat because of CC, and the other 4 are threats because they're so fed. So really, there isn't even an easy target on the enemy team. Now here, I'm just trying to look for some farm. The last dragon is coming up. I don't expect the enemy team to be doing Baron, because I'm thinking the enemy team probably wants the Dragon Soul. Most people love Dragon Soul, so they probably are not going to go Baron. Now my team is 3-man chasing the Riven, and I don't know about that. I'm not gonna bother, because Riven's gonna make it back to her mid lane tower, and there's no way we kill. Jin, with another horrible misposition, he gets jumped on by my team, has to blow his cleanse and flash to escape, and here I'm looking for him. I know he's probably not gonna be paying attention. He's gonna be paying attention to who he's sniping. He's not gonna be looking at where he is. So you can see I'm just blasting him over the wall. He doesn't even notice, and I'm just destroying him and the tower at the same time. I get the reset, I kill Thresh. Unfortunately, now I'm getting focused. I'm gonna have to go unstoppable and ensure I get out. And now here I can turn. I have my flash over the Ziggs bomb, and then I kill Riven, and then Echo dies to, I believe, my poison, and we kill everybody other than Ziggs. And now is the time to go for the Baron, because Baron has come up. 4 people dead on the enemy team. My whole team is still alive, and there is the turning point. Honestly, I will say we did play this relatively well, but the last 2 fights is really just the story of Jin messing it up for himself and his team. Like that first fight, he walked up and he greeted so much for a kill, and he's the fed ADC of the enemy team. He's the most fed person in the game. He overextends, he dies. And then this one, he came in like with a flank on 4 of my team. Like he done it again, and he dies again. So he's kind of like more misplaying than us really playing well. And Ziggs on the enemy team is playing really well as well. The Thresh is also playing really decent. I haven't seen too much of the Echo and Riven, but they seem to be doing pretty fine. But the Jin was playing really well at the beginning, and 2 huge mispositions has turned the game around completely. Now my team actually has a goal lead against the enemy team, and Elder Dragon is coming up. So now we're just warding the area to ensure that we have complete Elder Dragon vision. Maybe get a pick on the enemy team. Maybe the Riven here. Riven's a little bit tanky though, so I'm not committing my ult or anything. I'm just auto-attacking her just a little bit. I'm again just positioning safely in the backline. We can see the Thresh, the Ziggs, as well as the Echo coming in for kind of a flank. So we don't want to overextend anything. Now the Galio here is trolling, right? The reason why he's standing there is he's waiting to ult somebody, as in somebody being one of us. Like when we get jumped on, he's waiting to ult somebody, but he's standing there for so long that why not just come stand with us, and maybe you can get an engage like with your E or like get poke with your Q, like do something other than stand there behind the Elder Dragon and do nothing. He's still standing. He's been standing here for like 20 seconds, by the way. And I'm pinging him to assist, but he ain't having it. He's just standing there waiting for someone on our team to go in, or someone on the enemy team to go in on us. And here we're getting chunked out as we are. Here it is. Riven goes in. Galio finally joins the fight with the ult, knocks up the Riven, takes her out. I take her actually, and yeah, now we kind of turn the fight. A huge flash in from the Echo, tries to one-shot Wukong, but gets one-shot by me. Jin proto-belts towards me, and Jin's gone. Jin in the horrible positioning once again. And yeah, the enemy team is just completely throwing the game, in particular the Jin. Like, Jin has made 3 game-losing throws in a row. Like, I don't know, man. And at this point, the game is pretty much won, I think. Like, Baron's run out, obviously, but Baron has put so much pressure on, because while we're like all dancing around the Elder, Baron has obviously just been pushing, and you can see here that pretty much all our waves are pushed in at this point. Ziggs is the only one left alive to defend. He can't defend like 3 waves and like 5 people all at the same time. So here we basically just end the game. I'm not even interested in killing the Ziggs. I'm just gonna end the game. It was a really tough game. I think we played that game pretty well, especially at the team fights at the later end. I'm gonna leave you guys with the stats as usual. So thank you guys so much for watching the video, and goodbye.